Just didn't seem right.
And we still gotta wear the damn things at work though.
I'll bet you do. Yep. Well, healthcare is anywhere
How are you?
forever.
Yeah.
They are.
With waste management?
I'm surprised that they released it for us. I really am.
Well, yeah, I figured they'd come up with something fixed.
And I got a combine that
Any bars I ever went into, through the pool and bowling, I never won.
It's like walking into a restaurant, you sit down. Take it off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
put it back on the call side.
yeah.
I'll make sure making something here.
See here, the town dues, did they go up or is it by population? Used to be like 2,500, now it's 29.
Yeah, you know.
Consecutive declines. So we've been sharing with you the past 30
We
minutes.
kept
all
on
of
the
the things that we're expecting to hear from President.
No, I haven't had a chance to talk to you, but it's on the agenda about possibly getting a decide and how much it would cost. Dave Frankson would like to know, because he's doing some work on medicine and recycling. I thought the other night, would you be interested? I mean, just because we got a lot of
As
information.
long as it's at night and we'll see what my
Okay, so you
schedule.
don't care whether you're on it or not. And I just think it'd be nice if we had.
Sure. Well, like I say, I can't be during the day, so it'd
That's
have to
okay.
be at 7 o'clock. Would
Yeah.
be the earliest
Yeah,
if we're gonna
okay,
do it.
okay.
Well, if it's, you're on the board, I think you should be on the committee.
I understand that, yeah.
They'll have to work around your schedule.
Our legal fees are so high. It seems like we're spending all of it for the head. Signed anything yet.
No mailbox.
Everything in your white,
Just wondering if there
binder,
was for,
your white thing.
That Manila folder?
Yeah. mhm. You have something in there that,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's it, in there.
okay.
You think you could. Grab it. It's not there.
We'll get the bill on the Jim.
Sign check. Well,
Oh, everyone will pass this on too.
Okay, thanks.
Sign up.
Thank you.
Yes, and two other people, so I'm waiting for them to come back so we can meet. You know, I like to stick with Jeff, I think we better check with someone else once in a while and just see where we're at.
You know, I said that day that he, that price on it, 30. He thought that was not too bad.
He will,
Thinking,
so he wants all the wood.
yeah. And then there's a deal between him and Jeff that Jeff wants the whole bottom.
Oh, okay.
But that's up to them. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe he'd pay half of that.
We've done that before.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm working off that, I just thought maybe they're, you know, it's nice just to see
Right, yeah.
where it's at. So there's another one to come down on another one.
Then we got one out here on Locust Road there too, that boy said today that really bad. It's all ours. It's all ours. I guess he didn't say,
It's not power lines, we can usually take them.
yeah. Yeah, he said he would try to take this one down there. Yeah, yeah, that's a big solid.
I looked at it. So,
Yeah, that wouldn't be quite so bad.
Okay, ready? Okay, it's Tuesday, March 1st, 2022, 6:30 PM. I'll call this Town of Oregon board meeting to order at 1138 Union Road, Oregon, Wisconsin. Could I get roll call from the clerk?
Kate Gladdy. Here. Fred Clark,
Here.
Wayne Ace,
Here.
Harlan Christensen,
Here,
and Jason Marshall.
Here, thank you. Item 3, approval of last month's meetings minutes.
And then there's two sets of minutes. We have the minutes from the Marshall. That's short
Oh,
little
that's
meeting we
right.
had to put. So the first one would be the Wednesday, February 2nd, and then the second one would be Tuesday, February.
So me and Arlen and Kate were here at the first meeting, so can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the Tuesday, February 1st meeting?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from that meeting.
A motion from Kate, is there a second?
second,
Second from Arlen, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Both same sign, motion carries. Not gonna get approval for minutes of Tuesday, February 7th board meeting. February 8th, I'm sorry.
move to approve.
A motion from Arlen to approve, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Kate, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Both same sign, motion carries. Minutes approved. Item 4 is finance report and payment voucher approval.
So there's not going to be a financial report since the meeting just, or the month just ended, but there are payment vouchers. I don't know how far they've gotten around. We have this month, I just want to make everyone aware, we're paying back the 2 loans for the one's for, there's 2 road loans, and then there's one for the Brooklyn Fire Department. So and that totals 237, 931, 57.
Approval.
I'll approve the payment vouchers as presented.
Motion from Fred to approve, is there a second? Second from Arlen, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Both same sign. Motion carries. Item 5, I don't know if he's not here. Appearance from the Dane County Sheriff, Deputy Barton, no. Item 6 is public comments. Anybody in the audience that has something to bring forward that is not on the agenda, Nobody on it. Thank you. Item 7, recommendation of plan commission, plan rezone CSM petition DCPREZ 2021-11784. Armin,
This was approved with recommendations from the town board, which are in your book here. Deed restricted, one home on 5 acres, driveway, and they did put in there the map of where the driveway was gonna go. When Wayne asked for that at the meeting. So everything else was okay.
will there be a culvert going in on there, Armin?
Covered under road, yep. Culvert will be draining west.
Raining west.
Yeah, the culvert next to him to the east drains east.
Yep.
It's right there at that fence line that. And anything on his driveway will go across his driveway and out to the west also. Shouldn't go anywhere, shouldn't go, according to what I see by walking the fence line out there, it shouldn't go that way. So shouldn't go to the east at all.
Did you make the motion?
I make a motion to approve,
Wayne, could I bring something up first? How much problem are we gonna run into putting deed restrictions on all this if they're working on the transfer and the development of rights and we're starting to deed restrict all this stuff?
Well,
So
this-
we should be pulling back on here a little bit, and
Well, this piece of property here is 5 acres.
5 acres, you could chop. 5 acres is a big lot for somebody in the country.
Well, he's probably got an acre.
you gotta have 2 in your driveway on that one.
I mean, he's probably got an acre, we'll take and take the driveway. And
I'm just saying, you know,
I totally understand that part. I don't know.
you know, what are we deed restricting it for?
So they can't build another house on 5 acres.
Why do we care? We want to consolidate some of these and transfer them around. That's why they're working on the transfer and the development, right? So why do we want to deed restrict it? I mean, the density study already keeps track of the splits, divisions on that piece of property, so why does, you know, I don't know, Arlen, before you guys came in, there's an ordinance in
County.
now, or?
And the county automatically puts that on there unless it's a F. What is it, F1?
I don't know.
There's a thing in there like Schillingsted's. They can't build on that, but it wasn't deed restricted because of the zoning already deed restricted.
He was kind of, I remember that meeting in particular. We said there was going to be a deed restriction on it. And right at the last minute, he said, no, we don't need that because I promise you, it's always going to be a farm. I'm never going to build on it. And before the ink dried, he changed his mind to do it a TDR.
But it's zoned now, so you can't build on it.
Can they ask Dane County to
They
rezone it?
can, if you ever go to TDR.
Yeah.
Then it probably could be rezoned.
Probably could be or could be, you know, that's the
Well-
problem. You can't hardly guess at that stuff. I mean, if that's what the township's kind of headed towards, and we don't want to be deed restricting these places. I understand what you're saying, Wayne, 5 acres is not big, but
I think we have, you know, I'm hearing what you're saying, Jason. I think we have a lot of questions about TDR to be asked and answered before we come up with a policy, and this is also one of them. I don't think it's an automatic go through until we figure it out a little better.
So the way this is gonna get zoned, are you saying it automatically gets deed restricted? So we don't have to,
Dane County is
Dane
automatic.
County does that.
They're autom-
Okay, this can all be gone through week or 2 weeks from tonight. We're gonna have that meeting with
Brian,
Brian, you know, the planning commission and the board, all gonna be together.
So can we just table this until the next
No,
meeting?
no.
No,
my chair keeps falling down on me.
No, we gotta pass it
we
tonight.
gotta pass it.
Yeah, because we don't want these guys to be held up at Dane County. You could pass it without the deed restriction, and if the county puts it on there, they're gonna put it on there anyways.
So Jerry, if the county puts deed restriction on, can we ever take the deed restriction off?
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they do that because then it's recorded on the title and somebody doing a record search, we'll see that there's something special about that may prevent them from doing what they want to do.
What's really special about it though?
If there are no more splits left,
No more splits, okay.
yeah, I mean, they'd find that out. And you'd be surprised how many people buy property or used to buy property. And then they'd find out, oh, I don't have any splits. I can't build on this parcel. So that's more or less to a courtesy to a potential future purchaser.
So is that something we need to do as a township or just let Dane County take care of it?
Well, if you don't do it, Dane County will. But I mean, it's up to you.
So if we do it, Dane County won't, is what you're saying.
Well, if you do it, Dane County doesn't have to.
Doesn't have to.
I mean,
You know,
we
then
just-
we got, then the township's got a little more control over it than the county, you know, I would guess. It's
Well,
kind of.
that's the whole point. And that's why the county waits until you folks take action on an item before they do. Because it's your jurisdiction.
You understand my question with the transfer development, right? So-
Yes.
And not creating a bigger headache of getting that off of there.
Mhm.
Is there a way of redoing it different without having that
Um,
necessarily?
I wouldn't, I don't want to say without talking to, like Wayne said, Brian Standing or somebody up in zoning that works with this every day. That one I can't answer.
So like, if you look at the county provides a staff report, and that's on page 16 in your packet,
16, you said?
16 in your packet, okay? So
Okay.
you're almost there. On page 16, they're gonna start, there's a map, and then it's gonna say description,
Yep.
what they want to do, their observations. They're gonna talk about our town plan. And they'll say if it's approved, there'll be one potential home site remaining, so there's two. And the density studies on page 17. They'll say there's no resources, and then they'll say staff recommend approval with no conditions. So I'm not sure if the deed restriction that we're talking about right here would be put on or not, because they're recommending it without any conditions, because they're saying here that there's one potential home site remaining out of this farmstead. Where they put that potential home site could potentially be there, but if we don't want it to be in that 5 acres,
There's still another one available there. So, yeah,
They got 40 there,
what's that?
120 acres there. Altogether.
they have one remaining, one home site remaining.
That's all they left remaining?
That's
Oh, yeah,
what the
'cause there-
density
That's right,
study
because there's one
says.
that was already taken off. That's over beyond, yeah, it's over by,
That's what the density study said.
you're right.
Yeah, so if they're taking one off now, there's one remaining.
Yes,
Why would it want to be deed restricted? If they decide to chop that 5 acres in half again, who are we to say they can't?
that's true.
There's still a buildable site there, Arlen.
But they'd have to have TDR to put it on there. And you ain't got that.
No,
No, they have
because
one
there's
more
still
site.
another one there. There's still another one available.
To the owner, and this is not gonna be the owner.
Correct.
Hmm.
See, what
Any-
Arlen is saying, this 5 acres will be owned by somebody else other than that,
Other than that,
other property. So-
But we usually do it by the home farmstead.
Correct, but
So you usually assign it, like when Marshalls broke up, you usually assign who that split goes to. So is the split going to the Hagemans or is it staying with? We usually.
no, they stay with the Owens property.
Okay, and so you might want to also include that in that is where's that other split going? Because we, like the
It would
Marshalls, we
have to.
made clear. What's that?
It would have to stay with the Owens.
It doesn't have to.
Why wouldn't it?
I'm
It's
just
part of the
saying
farm homestead.
They could sell it as part of the land division if they wanted to. But
With
they
this
might
one, if
not.
they wanted
Is
to.
he here? Are you here? No. Oh, okay.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, likely it's not happening.
It's
but it
likely
is-
not
I
happening.
understand what she's saying. They could sell that with that 5
Right,
acres.
right.
Likely it's not gonna happen, but it should be, I see what she says. It should be documented. Then there's no questions asked later on.
We documented yours.
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, they should. They need to be spelled out and no
Mhm.
questions asked,
So
which
we-
is very easy to do.
that the remaining split goes with the,
So can we come back and put that restriction on it later? Can we just pass it tonight? Jerry's nodding and said, yes, we can just go ahead and pass it, wait till our meeting and ask, get some of the questions cleared up and then put the restriction on it at the next meeting.
Well,
They
I would just postpone.
Probably not.
I would say let's,
He was
I
done,
would,
yeah.
I would not.
I don't think so.
I'm
Once we
kind of-
approve it, it is what it is.
Yeah, and I would, and I'm just, I would prefer that you pass it tonight because it's up at the county and if we don't do it, it's gonna be like we're gonna be putting them behind.
When are you on for the county meeting?
It's
Uh,
like this week,
Next week.
next week.
A week from tomorrow night, a week from tonight.
Yeah, and they wanted
we'll
it, that
get to it,
he,
yeah.
that he wants it. With the Diaz one, we could postpone. That one would
Right.
be okay, but this one, I would say either pass it with the restriction if you feel strongly about the restriction. And then you could work it out later. You could maybe even take it off later, but.
If you feel
or-
it could, you know, if everybody feels it could be taken off later, pass it and going forward, I think that's one of the questions that needs to get asked. In my opinion.
You could pass a condition on checking with the zoning staff tomorrow.
Sure, could do that too.
To what was that, Jerry?
You could pass it tonight with the condition that it depends on the approval of the zoning staff tomorrow. If you want to do that. That way you
Well-
don't have to hold it up and you don't have to wonder.
I mean, Jerry said if it even gets deed restricted, that can be removed.
Yeah.
So I guess what's the difference either way we do it?
That's what he's saying. As long as we know we can go back and do that, we're not restricting somebody. Because I mean, how many other properties are already that way if they do get this transfer of development in, that are gonna have to go back and get them lifted.
Mhm.
But it'd be nice also going forward to maybe eliminate some of them steps and headaches of the deed restriction.
Yeah.
Unless working with the county and getting them lifted is way easier than I would guess it would be,
The
but
county is going to more or less follow the direction that the township
of
wants.
the board, okay.
Yeah.
I'll sorry for all the
Unless
questions.
Unless it's so wrong, you know, I mean, if it's totally improper, no, but generally, if what the town board wants to do is proper, the county will be following.
So Arlen, you made a motion
I-
with deed restriction?
That's what the
Plan commission
planning
recommended.
commission recommended, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what,
I have one quick question. So what happens to chilling steps? That the planning commission recommended the deed restriction and we didn't put it on. Will Dane County put it on?
I don't know.
No, it wasn't put on, I mean, that one's been approved, right, the way you folks approved it.
but that's zoning restricts any building on that place.
Yeah.
Right, see, so they can't build on there anyway,
Mhm.
unless they change zoning, like he said. Anyway. I move to approve DCTREZ 2021-11-784 with the restrictions that we have talked about here, deed restricting for 5 acres, driveway follows the picture that we got in with the bump out. No, there's no bump out in this one. Okay,
Yeah, there has to be. Or
no, this one isn't on now.
is it a bump out when your driveway's more than 400 feet,
500
500 feet?
500 feet. Yeah. I'm sure this one.
There's more than 500. You got 230 to here and you got 316 to here, so it has to be a bump out where that black spot is.
Okay, yeah, that was it. That was in the picture. The bump out was in the picture, right? Okay.
We have a motion from Arlen. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Fred. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, somebody saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 7B, rezone request petition DCPREZ -2022 11807. Arlen?
That one was Jason, here he's putting 2 lots off of Wilderness, is it Wilderness Way? Wilderness Way. The Where the driveway hits our cul-de-sac, it drops down there. And we want him to build that up so he comes out straight on our road with the trucks and stuff without ruining the edge of our new road over there. What his, let's see what his conditions, where there was conditions on that one too. Build up cul-de-sac, shared driveway and easement for all 3 lots. Provide Dane County assessment for drainage and water management. And one we missed was bump out on that one. He has to have a bump out because the driveway was 400 and some one way and 200 going up to lot 2. So I would recommend a wider area where 2 fire trucks can pass at the corner of lot 2. Where the lot 2 turns off, right in that area. It's got to be big enough, wide enough for 2 fire trucks to turn around. That be done?
Yep.
Okay. That's what we got on that one. Any questions on that?
I do have a question. So this, the part up there where the lines start on the driveway, is that where the end of our cul-de-sac is now?
On the top part, yeah.
On the top part?
Yep.
Okay,
The shared driveway easement is the dashes.
so you're coming all the way down, you're going all the way to the south then, and then branching off.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's another house there where. it's-
Yeah, I seen that today.
Yeah,
And then there is an easement on the north side of lot 1 to get to that east farm field is what you guys wanted, the planning commission. So we added that in.
So you told them, Arlen, where do you want this bump out at the intersection of where that first driveway is?
right, yep. Where it goes out, where it turns to go to lot 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it should be wide enough.
Gotta be
Then
plenty.
you'd have, for both lots, it'd be wide enough to it'd be 400 feet down, but it'd be wide enough for 2 fire trucks to get by each other.
Mhm.
Yeah, right where Y is basically. Right where-
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. You'll just have to be in. If you start construction that, if Arlen's not here no more, you let Jennifer know or let me know so that we can have somebody out and keep an eye on what's going on.
Sure.
Because when do you plan on start construction?
Still up in the air, hopefully this year sometime, but
So Arlen may not be in charge of the culverts when that time comes, so.
Okay.
You'll have to get a hold of Jennifer or myself, so we know what's going on. Okay, so anybody else got any? Make a motion.
I move to approve PCD DCPREZ 2022-11-807 with the restrictions that we've talked about and which are noted.
There's a motion from Arlen. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second from Fred. Is there any further discussion? Anybody have anything else? Hearing none, all in favor, somebody saying aye.
Aye.
All the same sign, motion carries. Thanks for coming in, Jason. 8, communication from Dane County Board, Jerry Bollig.
Hey, thank you, Wayne. Would you folks like me to check on the previous petition that you discussed? Not the very first one you discussed, just to make sure that that's the proper action.
Well, I think we can change it later if we have to.
Okay.
If they need to move forward within a week, I don't know.
I have to have a phone conversation with the chair, the head of the,
I mean, you can ask, if if we're doing the right thing and let us know.
well, I'll let you know, or I'll have them call Jennifer
Okay.
or something, but
Okay,
I don't want to give you that advice either. So-
okay.
Should we have worded that different or?
No, I don't think so. Again, I always feel better when I check with the experts, just like having a lawyer. They.
Well, I'd say there's a lot of them out there that way already, so
Yeah.
it's just something that we need to address going forward,
Yep.
if we're gonna make them changes.
Mhm. Yeah, just remember, you folks are in the driver's seat. If you want things a certain way and it's legal, Dane County zoning is generally gonna follow your lead. So. Other than that, the Dan Marshall petition was approved by the county board last Thursday night. So that's all set to go. Tipperary Road intersection, are the signs still okay down there?
Yep, they're up.
No, but are they what you want?
Yeah, and it says bump, but not much else you can do.
Okay, that dip should be out of there by June 1st.
Really. Good.
So if not, I'll report back to you. Are there any other questions for zoning? You're all quiet. so
Don't see any.
I guess not. The other thing that's going on in Dane County, and I think I brought this up before, is someone goes into a populated area and buys a house and they start a daycare center. And those are, if they have under 8 kids, it's protected by the state. So if the neighbors don't like it, that's tough. But I just wanted folks to know that that's something that's becoming, it must be profitable or they wouldn't be doing it. It's especially a problem in town. Or in a development, say, where Kate lives out there, if they would go into her neighborhood and buy a house and then all of a sudden you got all this morning and afternoon traffic and kids making noise and things like that. So that's an up and coming thing, but I just bring it to your attention. The big thing at the county board right now is the jail. Trying to get the jail built. And the problem is right now, there are like 15 county board members that don't want any jail. They don't think we need a jail. And they're voting no on just about everything we do. So the chairs of myself have been meeting ever since the last meeting to try and come up with another proposal that might fly. And I think we have one. And what it involves is not cutting off a floor and leaving the Huber Center open for 3 years. And that will save enough. It still adds like $16 million to the project, but it's better than $24 million. And hopefully we'll find out Thursday night if that's going to be enough to get enough votes. We got to have a majority, which is like 28 votes. And we only got like 20 now that we just doing a head count. So hopefully that'll work out. But that's all I have, unless you have some questions for me.
Jerry, I have a question.
Sure.
Staff reports on like rezone petitions. When are they generally available? So like we had one tonight for one of our petitions, but we didn't have one for another one of our petitions. Sometimes the board might want to see those staff reports because they might bring up issues that the town might not have known.
I can have those sent to you when they're available.
Yeah, do you know when they're available? Like how soon before the county?
I think it's going to depend upon the amount of petitions there are,
Okay,
but I can ask and get back to
Okay.
you.
that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that might be helpful.
I'll ask staff.
Okay.
And what would you like them? Let's put it that way.
Well, I would like them so that the town can look at the staff reports, to see what the staff has come up with when they've reviewed it.
Okay, yeah,
So,
I'll get back to you
Okay.
with that information.
okay,
And hopefully it'll be enough time for you folks to feel like it is timely. So,
yeah, okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Anybody else, anybody, got anything for Jerry? Thanks for coming in, Jerry.
Oh, you're welcome.
Item 9. Discussing possible action curbside garbage pickup. Appearance with Mike from Waste Management. Are you here?
Yep.
All right, sir. There's information in your packet. If you would kind of want to tell us what you got.
Yeah, so I think you guys are managing the recycling right now in town, right?
Correct.
And then the rest is open market, from my understanding.
Mhm.
So, yeah, basically, we just built the price to service both trash and recycling for approximately 1,100 homes. Automated curbside, so we would deliver the carts to all the residents. Trash would be picked up weekly and recycling would be every other week. And then we were gonna include a 6-yard and a 2-yard trash and recycle container for the town hall at no cost.
A 6-yard and a 2-yard.
Yeah,
Just like they do in Oregon?
are we in Oregon?
No, well, I mean, you're in the township.
Oh,
No, the village of Oregon.
okay, I'm not sure what they do in the village, yeah,
And that's for what kind of trash? Like whatever comes out of the town hall and out of the shop?
yeah.
So why is there a 6 and a 2? What's the difference?
Usually there's more trash than recycling. I mean, we
Also, the
could-
2 is for the recycling.
Yeah,
Okay.
we could bump it up to 4 or something, but that's usually just kind of what we start with, so.
Okay.
And then obviously we can set the service. I don't know if you guys would need like a weekly pickup for that, or we could have it on call when it's full, you just call and we can schedule it, you know.
That'd be the easiest.
That's stuff to discuss. And then, yeah, so basically be a 5-year contract that we'd be looking to do. And then it's kind of more just on what are you guys timing and stuff like that. You looking to get off the open market?
I missed the fees then?
Yeah, so
On page,
it should be the last page.
Thought I.
yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
Basically, it comes to a total of 1960 per month per unit. So 1430 for the trash and 530 for the recycling.
What page you on?
I'm on 49 right now.
Hold on a second, maybe it,
I'm on 51. I didn't see it earlier on the other package either.
I can give you the copy I have if you need it.
I seen it on this one.
did it make it in there or did it get cut?
It should be the last page of our proposal.
I got cut off.
I don't have it. So that's what you can just tell. So say that again.
So 1430 for the trash / refuse is called, and then 530 for the recycling. So it comes in 1960 per month.
1960 per month.
Yeah. And it includes all taxes, disposal, whatever. In there.
So if somebody, I'm good. I got it here. Okay. So if somebody throws in stuff that is not supposed to be thrown away, the town's not liable for that?
I mean, if we see it like beforehand, we won't pick it up and we'll obviously let them.
Right, but I mean, it's easy. I mean, you guys come along, you pick up the dumpster with your automatic trucks and throw it in. So if
Yeah, I mean-
somebody throws antifreeze in a bag and throws it in there and you ain't catching it till later,
Yeah, I mean.
we don't get fined for that, right?
No, I mean, usually, like I said, we just had a truck that sometimes our load will start on fire and they'll have to dump the load on the road and put it out. I mean, obviously, you know, we hope people don't throw stuff in the trash, like batteries and stuff. But I mean, we all know everything kind of ends up in there sometimes, so. Yeah, I mean, that's just, you know, risk. I mean,
Right.
listen, there's probably stuff in that landfill that's not supposed to be there. Right? We can't monitor every cart, but.
Right.
So.
Well, I'll go around the board. Kate, you got questions?
So I want you to tell me a little more about what you do with your things that are recycled.
Yeah, so all this would go through a transfer station in Badger Road and it goes up to our MRF.
Up to where?
Our recycling facility up in Germantown, so it gets transferred up there. It's a single sort, so it goes through and like all the cardboard gets separated, the aluminum, it's like a big process, right? People are sitting there sorting it as it goes through. And then every month, you know, we can give you a report of the tonnage and stuff that by waste streams. That's what I do for like City of Monona and stuff like that. So then you can see, you know, what's getting recycled. Usually we have about a 92 to 93% success rate on recycling, and then some of it, obviously, not 100%, but
Okay, so Germantown. Okay,
Yeah.
so the timing of this meeting was not in your favor.
that's all right.
So I'm not the messenger, but I live in the town and I have waste management, and you made a lot of people in the town angry
Okay,
when you changed the pickup date and didn't tell anybody.
okay. And that was
And-
for open market people?
Yeah.
Are you open? Okay, okay.
And there's a few other things. I don't think your website is that friendly.
Okay,
Because I was trying, because I was told if I went to paperless billing,
yep,
then I wouldn't be charged an extra fee. But then I found out I also had to go to automatic payment or I'd be charged $8.50 every
Okay.
billing period.
okay.
So,
And I'm not as familiar with the open market.
yeah,
'Cause, like, we
so I
don't have
mean, that
those-
made a lot of people unhappy with waste management
Yeah,
in my subdivision.
yeah.
So what happens if you're gonna change the day again?
So like when we go through and have to do a day change with municipality, we have to get that approved in front of you guys. I did it with Vienna and Windsor, so it probably took about a 2-month process. We present new maps, what the routes will be, and then it has to go approved. So it usually takes about 6 weeks, to 8 weeks. to
And
get
then the
approved.
board has to notify the residents?
No, then we send out, if you guys approve it, we would send out mailers. They put stuff on their websites as well, but basically we take the address list and we send out mailers to everybody with the service change. So, yeah, so it wouldn't be like just up in the air. Like I said, it'd have to be approved by the board.
So, yeah. Fred,
I'm good for right now. Can't think of anything.
Arlen,
Price of fuel, you gonna change your rate when the fuel prices go way up?
No, we have compressed natural gas trucks here, 100%, so they're not diesel, so there's no fuel surcharge.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yep.
Jason?
Couple of questions. Is this an all-in price or, certain people, can they opt out of this? Is it your price gonna fluctuate with the town or?
Yeah, I mean, this was based off the house count and stuff.
But I mean, if we lose 150 residents that don't want it, what's that gonna do to your price? I guess it's a two-part question. I'm sure there's plenty of people, and I asked the same kind of Terry, there's existing contracts out there.
Yeah,
And his answer was, well, they won't come around anymore because it's not worth their while. Well, if they're paying the contract, they're still gonna come around, and you guys are gonna do the same. There's a lot of waste management.
Yeah.
Versus, so I'm just, well,
I mean, let's say that like there's like 20 people. I don't know how many people are in our open market for waste management, in this area. But yeah, if it did become, not cost effective, they'd probably just get rid of the routes on the open market. I'm not sure what the split is right now between Pelletary and us, but
are you guys willing to do anything with the people with them contracts they're already paying on though, that they can't get out of?
so
or individuals, I know there's some with the contracts with the smaller barrels, but then there's also, the dumpsters on the smaller businesses, farms, whatnot.
yeah, so the farms and stuff would probably, if they wanted dumpsters, I mean, I could maybe give a dumpster rate. Usually we handle that through our commercial line. But some of the towns like that are kind of out there that have the farms, we'll give like a rate for a 2 or 4 yard dumpster. As part of the municipal contract for the farms, because obviously we don't want them to have like 10 96-gallon carts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could, that's something I could work up and get back to you guys.
And then what about the existing contracts that are out there for some?
Yeah, I mean,
Most, yours is a 5-year contract here. I'm sure there's people out there that have lengthy contracts. Now, if we make everybody mandatory out
Yeah,
of this, now they got another
yeah,
$250 a year to pay too.
yeah, and I'll have to ask, because I mean, usually like if we have an open market, people have we have subscription up the drive service up in the Heartland area sometimes. And you can prepay it, but if you cancel it, we refund it. But I don't know if that's how the open market works. So I'll have to ask internally here. And like, usually we have just an annual renewal. So I don't know, like, I guess that's kind of, with this change, would we want to, if you guys make the change, would it be like a June 1st, or would it be something that we kind of planned to do for 2023? I guess I don't know what your guys' time, because like those contracts might come up, right? Where they could get out of them at the end of the year too. So.
For the open market for me, because I asked this when I called,
Yeah.
We pay for 3 months at a time. And
Okay.
you can cancel anytime, but if you prepaid it for that 3 month, you don't get that part back. So it doesn't sound like it'd be hard to do. It's not that long of a period that you have a contract for.
Yeah, I think right now we're more or less looking and we're just,
Yeah.
that there is no, and you brought up a good point. Maybe that's something, if we do decide to go this route, that we can put it out there 6 months in advance or something, so people
Yeah.
can get out of their contracts and whatnot.
And I mean, if you can get, I don't know, how many people look at a poll and answer a poll, but I mean, let's say you put it out there, 100 people, I mean, it probably wouldn't adjust the rate, right?
Obviously, the way, if we went with waste management, the waste management contracts, I would imagine would definitely be
Oh,
expensive.
for sure, yeah,
It'd be the peditary and the other.
yeah, so it's like I
ones
said,
that would
like,
Be in question.
if you're looking at like 100 home less, then it probably wouldn't make a difference. If you're saying, oh, now we're cutting in half and it's 600 homes, it might change it, you know what I'm saying? So it,
Just a quick,
yeah, so.
so there is a little bit of flexibility there.
Yeah, I mean, usually, like I said, some municipalities, if they have a new house or whatever, they'll adjust the house count every month, some do it annually, you know? So basically, you know, every month I get one in this, you know, oh, there's 2 new homes and we'll add to the house count, or vice versa, if we have to remove homes, so the house count just adjusts like as you guys grow or shrink. So.
I had a message from the chat. Is that contract price then for 5 years, the monthly fee that you, was that, since it's a 5-year contract?
So that's the first year, and then it follows the water sewer trash CPI.
Okay, so it would fluctuate.
Correct, depending on the CPI is, so. I think water sewer trash this year was like 4.3. the last 12 months.
Has anybody got anything else?
Can you add multiple? If you're gonna get a household that wants 2. is
So
there-
yeah, so usually what we do is
and then you
we
add-
supply 1 cart, and then if residents want additional carts, we bill them directly.
Okay,
For that, we wouldn't bill the town. So if someone wants a 96-gallon cart,
what kind of price is that generally?
usually it's
ballpark?
like 65, 70 bucks for the year. If the other can pay, it's just a flat fee, and that's all in. There's no taxes or delivery fee or anything like that, so. But like I said, we can put that into the contract, we have it, but we would just bill them directly, so you guys don't have to worry about collecting additional money, stuff like that, so.
What size containers are these?
We have 96-gallon carts, that's usually what most people go with. We can do 64-gallon. With the automated, obviously the bigger cart just gives you more space, you know, if you don't fill it. So.
Anything else, Jason?
Not for me, no.
Jennifer, you got anything else you want to ask? Arlen?
Nope.
You guys are done?
No more questions?
I guess how long are these prices good for?
I mean, I'll hold them obviously for, I don't know, a year. I mean, if you come back in 2-3 years, it'll probably change.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I didn't know if they were good for 2 weeks only here.
Oh, no, I think, when did we put this together? December, January?
No, that's
Yeah,
not,
yeah, so, no, these prices are,
it's not like everything else terminated when you walk out the door.
yeah, no, so, like I said, if you guys, you know, this was an initial discussion, you know, Jennifer, if you have questions, just relay them to her, get it to me. And I can answer whatever, and if you guys think you do want to move forward, I can throw together like basically a draft contract for review. So.
We got people in the audience. Any in the audience have any questions for the waste management? Yes, sir.
I think more of a question for the board. Would this replace the torque facility?
Right now, our plan would be to keep it open maybe a couple times a month for like brush, tires, and appliances, stuff like that. So we'd probably be open a couple times a month. But otherwise, it would replace all the recyclables and trash, yes,
And then would this be handled through property taxes?
yes.
It's really way at the beginning stages of just getting some prices and ideas from the public and.
And I was going to propose that it's actually on this part of the agenda, that we form a committee to sort of do a lot more investigation, to get all the information between the 2 companies, what the torque would cost us, what we'd be saving by not having the torque, maybe even end up having it as a referendum. So that was one thing that I wanted to propose tonight, that we form a committee. And we had one person, Dave Frankson, who would be willing to work on it, who has worked with Madison on recycling. And also Lori is here, who works at the Torque. Would you be willing to work on this committee too?
Yes.
Okay. So shall I?
And Fred should be on it. He's our torque.
We talked about that. a little
Supervisor.
bit, yeah.
So I don't know how many people you want on it.
Or the person has to get both the trash and
Or-
recycle.
You do have 2 cars. Yeah.
I would think
Even
so
if you
too.
don't need the one,
So why don't you work on that?
if you just wanted the recycling.
I mean, I guess if you didn't want it, we could get rid of it. We could just drop it, but
Okay,
I mean, do some of your residents burn? I don't know. Out here?
they can, yes.
That's why I don't want the trash.
Yeah. I grew up in the country too. I burned everything, back in the day, so, but. Yeah, and then obviously, like you said, if you're a resident that burn, you might have, 1,100 recycling and you might have 1050 refuse that we bill for, because some people might just burn it, right? So we would just bill basically for the houses that had it.
Okay. Are we good? All right, thanks for coming in.
No problem. Let me know if you guys have questions down the road.
All right, thanks. Item 10, discussion possible approval of 22-23 road salt contract purchase. We have to do this every year, this time of the year. I think we're sitting okay with what we've been doing, the 400 ton, right, Jennifer?
We have 3 on page 65. You'll see what are, right now, we ordered 400, we have 312.81, and then Abel said he ordered, I think, 60 more ton today, 60 or 40 more. It hasn't come.
I mean, we can contract for 400 and then we always do a reserve.
Yep,
Right.
and then on, yep, let me get there, this page right here, we are allowed to contract if you, well, I guess you could look at the contract itself. You can have an optional reserve, but it can't be more than 20%. So if you do 400 ton, your 20% is 80 tons. So that's our option. That means we can take it or we don't have to take it. So we're allowed 20% of whatever our guaranteed contract amount is. Now, when we get to the end, like we are now, they don't hold us, the amount, loads are never the exact amount, so we can fluctuate a little bit.
Well,
I talked to Abel a little today. He said there's 90 some ton left to get.
86. Right,
86, yeah, he said 90, he said 90, 86.
or 80, 88, I guess, maybe,
He said it wouldn't all quite fit in the shed now, and the shed will be full.
right.
And I'm just wondering if we shouldn't, try backing down a little bit, drop them numbers by 100 ton and maybe
Well, you gotta realize we ain't used that much this year.
we have not, but also.
And you don't know
I
what's
think
gonna
we
happen
should
next
try
year.
to do something with the guys putting the salt on and just see if they can, I know the Oregon Township's one of the highest salt usage townships around. It's extremely high, and I'm sure you've done it too. You drive around, and I know Friday when I drove around, I mean, you take some of these side roads at 5 o'clock in the morning, they're burnt down to blacktop already. After that snow, and it's like,
Yeah, when you have,
everybody's complaining about speeding and with, the salt's hard on the roads. Why are we even salting these 1.5 cross roads the 1st of March, when they're. I can see out going out and spot salt, later on that day or something, but to have them burnt down to blacktop at 5 in the morning. I mean, I think we're just using a lot of salt.
How much sand did we use?
I never get complaints about good roads. I get the complaints when the roads are slippery.
Correct.
Next page, Arlen, is the sand.
On the next page?
I don't doubt that, but people
We
also
did-
gotta realize what it, and maybe that's something, I don't know, if we try to put a flyer together, I mean, they
And
gotta.
we have,
realize the
we have
cost.
cut down on salt. We used to be 500, we went down to 400.
Maybe we can get down lower yet. Tell you, say, I went across Locust Grove and Room Corners, they were blacktop at 5 o'clock in the morning. When the roads that weren't salted, period, I came up Netherwood subdivision, very little salt. By 11 o'clock, I mean, everything was down to blacktop that day. There's not many people, everybody wants to drive slower. So they want slower speeds, but then they want the roads like racetracks. That don't make sense. I just think there's some room to back down a little bit. I mean, salt's expensive, it's hard on the roads.
Well,
Can we use a little bit more sand, and just,
well, that's what we usually do. And we should have had more sand in the last 2 batches. But it didn't happen. You know, you just, with the winter we had, we didn't start using sand or salt until January, you know. It isn't very often we get by that late, you know.
No, and maybe we could have a little class with all the snowplow drivers about salting, you know, and different. Somebody's gonna complain about something all the time, like me right now, and how much salt we're using.
If we had a better building to put it in, we'd use sand.
If
But
we
we
had-
haven't got the building,
Right.
so.
Right.
I still haven't got the question answered, why we're salting these crossover roads, you know, they just, there's
Well,
four,
it's safety,
there's
you
four
know,
people on that road all day.
it's still safety, Jason, and that's the way I look at it. If somebody gets killed because the roads are bad, that ain't gonna look good for us. You know,
No, and
when you talk about too much salt,
I understand.
I consider the county uses way too much salt.
They
As soon as you
do.
see flurries, they're out salting the road. We're not that way.
No,
You know, I thought we've done a pretty darn good job over the
well, yeah,
years.
the roads are clean, the roads are nice, there's
And,
no doubt about it.
We have cut back on salt. We've uppered our sand.
You know, even the
You know,
sub,
if we cut down on salt, if we say, all right, let's go down 300 ton. And we get a whale of winter next year, then we're gonna be short of salt, and then what are we gonna do?
but we're also sitting with inventory that won't all fit in the shed right now, and
It'll get in the shed.
it'll be full.
It's good to go into the fall full. That's what we've always tried to do. We've always tried to go into the winter full. So I'm still comfortable with the 400 ton. I really am. I'd hate to go down any lower. I mean, you guys spread salt when it snows, right? You've got contracts.
Oh, yeah.
Have you cut back?
Oh, yeah, huge, especially the
Because-
first of March. I mean, we go through a fraction. I mean, you know it's gonna burn off. You get into
Mhm.
March, it just, you know, end of February, just it's warmer days. I guess what just really irked me in the salt consumption when I seen them side roads burned off at 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, they were pure blacktop at 5 in the morning. So that tells me and I didn't go across every township road, you know, I got behind a plow truck on them, so I cut across Room Corners, come up, cut across Locust, I was going the other way. You know, on the way back, it came to Otherwood, did a couple of the subdivisions. You know, the subdivisions were not burnt off yet at 9 o'clock. So maybe it's one truck that's, you know, needs some adjusting, I don't know. I guess I just seen that, and it got me really concerned.
Yeah, Todd did that route that day, so I don't know.
What's that?
Todd did that route that day, so I don't know.
You know, and he's new, maybe that's.
Well, and he's used to also salting for the county.
Well, yeah, normally, I
Yeah.
mean, I bet 25% on this last snowfall compared to what we do the 1st of January, just for the time of year it takes. I know I talked to Todd over there a little bit, and he said they turned theirs down to 150 pounds per mile, you know, once they hit the 20th of February.
I mean, we usually mix more sand once we get into February.
I know Abel said they're still at about 250 to 300 a mile.
And I don't know.
I think it's important that our roads are kept as safe as possible and not think about saving money on salt. You know, there's people that live in the township that are driving home at 5 in the morning from being nurses at healthcare. We need to keep.
They
the
don't
roads
stop and
safe.
shovel their driveway and salt that before they leave it and get out. Every one of the driveways on that, you know,
I'm just.
yeah, it is what it is. I mean, we order the
I'm not
400.
talking about people shoveling. I'm talking about keeping the roads that people are driving on safe.
We order the 400 ton, and maybe it's just something we can meet with the guys and, you know, find out what truck it was and see if they can't fine tune it just a little bit more yet.
Okay.
You're gonna have room for that 400 that you said.
We'll have room.
It's gonna get burnt up, but maybe they can fine tune it a little more next year.
That's like I told them today, because they said mix a lot more sand, but keep room for that extra salt that we gotta take. You know?
And you know, salt's hard on the road
Oh,
and it's expensive.
It is, yep.
You know, and people
I
gotta
totally
learn,
agree.
just, you know, it's still a country. Madison does not even plow their secondary roads. So now we're out here salting and making everything down to blacktop on secondary, you know. And right in the city of Madison, they don't even get plowed.
I know, but I've got complaints, you know, and like I say, I never get complaints about good roads. So
I'm complaining.
as long as I'm on the board.
I understand your point, Wayne. I just think we gotta try to train to try to educate the public and our drivers and just try to use it a little more efficiently. That's all I had on it. We move on.
We could, we have the ARPA funds, and if you're thinking of building a building for that sand, that could be a potential use.
It would be nice if we know if we could.
Yeah,
mean-
I think there's a good possibility you could do that. With the final rule that just came out. So, and then you could have a dedicated sand, which would be helpful.
But right now.
So then I don't know. did we
$100,000 on
get
anything to
quotes
build a
on
nice
that?
salt shed today.
150, if you figure,
150,000?
the bid that I got.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was how long ago things have gotten nuts in the last 6 months.
Well, that was when everything was way high.
Yeah, well,
So
we
went
haven't came down any.
Well, it came down halfway there for a while.
So it's-
How good do you gotta get with this, like a sand shed, Wayne? Can you just do like a hoop building off of,
well,
I mean,
I've
something.
talked about that for years, but it never went anywhere for a hoop shed.
You know what a hoop shed costs for how long they last?
Well, I've seen some of them that, I mean, are up for quite some time. I mean, I know like down in Belleville, there's a couple of guys that store salt in them, have had them there for 8-10 years and they're in good, and they actually got them set on cement blocks. And then
Well, that's what they got out here at the old Mueller place.
And I mean, I don't know how many loads you're looking at saying, and that's something a guy can look into. It's gonna drag out long enough.
Well, for tonight, let's, I'll make a motion on your proof of 400 ton of salt.
A second.
And motion from Wayne, second from Marvin. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carries. All right, 11, discussion of possible road work. I'll be honest about it. Since our last meeting, which was just a couple weeks ago, I haven't had time to discuss anything with Abel. I haven't had time to do anything with the road work. I'd like to know where we're at for our funds from what we borrowed, what we got left over. And figure out how much Alpine's gonna cost us. And I just ain't had time to get the figures together, so I'd like to table this for another month.
Can I just add something? And this is something I found out since you and I talked. And it was after talking to Abel, because I saw what Abel had posted and it was a little bit confusing. And then I asked him about it, and it's about the funding that we can get from Wisconsin. And you and I talked about it, and he said it has to do with more than just roads that are gonna have bike lanes on it. And he talked about something called, it has to be shovel ready. So it means an area that has been checked by an engineer, which you said is expensive, and ready to go, and we have to have the money to pay for it. So if we had $100,000 to pay for $100,000 of improvement, we would get 80% of that back from Wisconsin, which I think that'd be something to not
And-
look into. And I think that at first he said it would have to be by April, but then he made some phone calls, and I guess it's really confusing. But I think it's something we might want to address in the next month or two, to not miss out on that.
I agree, but that's totally different information than what I got. So I guess we'd have to go down the bottom. If you guys remember a month ago, we got a letter from a guy by the name of Doug Cena. He's an engineer for Payne and Dolan. Not for Payne and Dolan. I don't remember who it is, but anyway, he lives out in Hampton Hills, and he called me about this stuff. And we got on the phone, and he also had a guy on the phone that does approval for these. And he told me right out, he says, just to repave a road, you're not gonna need the money for it. You're gonna widen the road for like a bike path or improve the road for safety, make it wider, make it straighter, it'll get approved. But just to repave a road, he said it's not gonna get approved. So that's all I'm going by. But if he's got other information, you wanna dig into it, I mean, go for it. I mean, I can call this other guy and see what he says. I hate to go spending $10,000-12,000 on engineer fees and find out we have nothing at the end, because number one, we have budgeted for that, so we're gonna have to take that out of the road fund to begin with.
So we can get an estimate for what an engineer would cost. And if it's-
Jennifer did send it out, it's like $125 an hour, correct? So,
According to the email.
right. So, and I don't know what all they have to do.
Right. Well, I
And
mean,
what
I
the
think it's
engineer has
worth,
to do.
just finding that there could be a deadline sometime this
there
year.
is.
We could miss
There
out
is.
on $800,000.
One was like right now, yeah, soon, and then the other one, It's for like next year.
It sounds
Not,
better.
800 sounds way better, but we're gonna be
Yeah, yeah,
short by.
yeah.
So,
But I just wanted to say that it's something that I found, because Abel's been checking into it for Albany. And he's been looking at it, and then I asked him questions, and then he called and asked more questions and got back, so,
I'll get you this Doug's number and you can
okay,
do what you see what you can do.
okay.
How's that sound? Okay. All right, sounds good. Item 12, discuss and possible approval of trailer and excavator purchase. Jason, you got anything on that?
I got them to hold off till April or May, whatever works with the election and the new board coming on. I guess we came to the agreement. Why are they doing that now? So they're gonna hold on to the trailer they got still on, or the way everything's been going until May or till after the election. We didn't want to, and maybe I was out of place here, but we didn't want to have this board decide on buying a trailer, the next board decide on not buying the excavator. Then we got a trailer with no excavator, so everything, just Jennifer was helping on that a little bit, so everything's pretty well put on hold until, I did tell Todd, because all the rest of them have took care of it. And if we did approve it, they could wait, so we could budget it for it next fall or whatever.
The last month's meeting, if I remember right, didn't you say something about that he had somebody else that also wanted to come in on it?
They do, but they're just putting them on standby.
So what's wrong with 5 people on it? I mean, nobody.
You know, I've never really asked them that.
Well, I mean, you look at it, nobody uses it more than a week a year. And you have
Correct.
from, say, April 1st to November 1st to use it. If people can't find 5 weeks in that time to use it.
Well,
And I make it cheaper for everybody if another person.
and I guess I'd agree with you. I've never asked him that. I mean, he just makes it sound like it's booked up solid, and it's not. I mean, they're putting,
You look at the hours. it's-
yeah, you're only putting, what, 36, 90, 120?
On page
150.
80. Page 80, yeah, the usage.
So even if it's 160 hours, that's
About
only,
40 hours.
that's only 4 weeks.
Right.
No, I agree, and that's a question, I guess, that
So-
could be,
I don't understand why it would bother if we had 5 in there or even 6, you know, I mean, nobody uses it more than a week a year. You got all kinds of months to plan it. Then make it that much cheaper for everybody.
no, I agree that there's time there.
And I don't know who the municipality is, but why don't you check into it?
Well, I can just ask Todd, why, what
Right.
about that 5th option?
Right.
But we do have now until May or whatever, and then
Okay,
we have to give them an answer, and I can find out if they'd be willing to do that. I don't know why they wouldn't.
right, I don't need it.
It makes perfect sense. The only other thing, long as we're on that, and I think we discussed this before, was you re-asked me, and I don't remember on that saw, that blacktop saw.
So what?
I had talked to you guys about the cement saw.
I
You
don't
don't
know.
remember neither?
I don't need it. No.
The place they were renting them from, I think, was Ace over there in Stoughton, which was out of business. And
Oh, they did?
Yeah. And auction.
I thought that was
Maybe their
Allison.
business, they
Allison
just-
went out of business.
Okay.
They used to, they got,
The one they were renting it from is no longer available. So
I thought
they,
they always went to Ace. I know Allison's shut down, but
And the Ellison's, they had a pretty good size rental.
regardless, where they were
Right.
getting the one from was
Okay.
no longer available to be
Okay.
gotten.
okay,
So the other townships have already went in on one in Wawa,
they did.
but they will let us in on it if we want it at $300.
Okay.
So I told him I would assume we would. I asked Abel about it. He said, well, but I know we talked about this because you said Payne and Dolan does a lot of the cutting.
Well, they do when they do the roads,
Abel said for.
but we
the-
do our culverts, we
culverts,
do.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, we probably pay close to that in rent, more than that in rent.
yeah,
Must be-
we do have to buy our own blades though. Each township's got to own their blades, but the oldest all together. So I guess we'll have to drop a little.
I remember that.
How does that go? Do we gotta draw a little contract up just saying that we do have ownership of it, or you just give them a check and pay them and
Where does it reside? In Dunn?
done?
Yeah, they'll drive a contract.
They will.
I'm sure they will. So Dunn, Rutland and
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk went on.
I would assume they said we all went in on it, and that's who's in on the excavator. I guess they didn't specify. And we do have to buy, the blades are quite pricey, I
But
believe.
they are.
I don't know what they are.
Diamond tip blades.
Yep.
How much?
I don't know.
Oh.
They're diamond tip blades.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah, they'll be expensive.
Do you
All
want,
right, I'll tell them to go ahead and just get us a contract or something.
And I'll add it to next month's agenda for
Sure.
approval.
Mhm.
Okay, so just have her send it to me.
All
Okay.
right.
Anything else?
Nope, just remember that you guys, whoever's, here yet in May, you'll have to address the readers.
Okay. Fire and EMS, Belleville, Jason, you got anything?
No.
No?
No.
Oops, I skipped one, I'm sorry.
You skipped the whole lot.
I skipped one, yep. The Brooklyn Fire and EMS contract.
So they went through it with us hiring a new chief. There was some wording that needed to be changed, so they sent you a copy that was red lettered of the changes, and then there's a copy with, that is hard copy black lettered. So we need to approve the changes to the agreement. What we went through and we did.
And you're all good with it.
And, yeah, I'm all good. I was there for the meetings. We went through it and
Good.
yeah, it's all good.
You want to get a motion?
I'll make a motion that we pass the Brooklyn Fire and EMS Protection District Agreement.
Got a motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Kate. Is there any further discussion? Here none, all in favor, so saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Item 14, discussion of the approval of the Oregon Area Fire EMS contract. That was all done by our attorney. So I had no reasons not to approve it. The other municipalities went through it and they've had some changes, but it still got final approval from our attorney. So I don't think we could ask for any more better than that. Questions? Oh,
Oh, our page ended up on page 106.
106, I see that.
I'm sorry about that.
I just saw that too as I was flipping through to get the Oregon agreement.
oh, there.
Oopsies.
So I have a motion to approve the Oregon Fire EMS new contract. The old contract was done in 1996, so it was way overdue.
So I thought we did, does not change the subject, but I thought we went through and did a agreement like 5 years ago for the Oregon, or was it just revision of the?
I think it was just a revision.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. This one is all done from one page to the end.
Similar to what we did to Brooklyn 3 or 4 years ago when
Yep.
we needed to do that. Perfect. I make that motion that we approve the Oregon Fire and EMS contract.
A motion from Fred, second from Arlen. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Now Fire and EMS. Jason, Belleville,
No.
Brooklyn, Fred.
Just went over this agreement, made the changes with all of the board members, so that was pretty much it. Mason's doing a good job. He said that he makes a agenda of everything he wants to get done a day and it goes out the window by the end of the day, so he's getting paperwork done and figured out what was wrong with the fire truck from that fire on that cold night and got that repaired. And Leaf Spildy is the assistant chief. And Justin is,
Wizik.
what's that?
Wizik.
Yeah, is the EMS director. So there, we swore Justin in on that meeting. Leaf had a Brooklyn Public Works meeting, so he wasn't been able to be there, but other than that, everything else is going good.
All right, thanks. Oregon, we have not met since our last board meeting when I gave you a report, so we have our meeting this Thursday night. 16, emergency management. Kate, you got anything to say?
Nothing new, Carl?
No, we're still waiting on the
Caught
county.
up still.
All caught up? Okay. Cemetery report, Jennifer, I mean, we've seen your emails, there's still nothing to do yet.
I think he's busy, so
Park committee, Steve was online. Does he have anything for us?
I have nothing to report. We didn't have a meeting. Our next meeting will be, as I've said in the past, April. That's all.
How you feeling?
Better. I'm getting there.
Good, good. All right, thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Mr. Report. Arlen, you got anything else?
Other than the meeting next 2 weeks with the board here, so
Yep.
we'll go through whatever questions you guys have. That's the time to ask the
Yep.
Okay, so I have a question about that too. We have all those questions to answer. And
Are you talking about them bullet points?
yeah,
Okay,
I think now the planning commission never really made a motion that these are what you guys wanted us to consider. So I'm a little bit confused, you know, like some of the things like saying that the map was a mistake, that they want to get rid of it. I don't even want to answer it unless you guys say, yeah, that's what you think we're supposed to do. And I don't know where there's any documentation about a lot of that stuff. So I don't even know how to go about answering a lot of those questions until I have more information from the planning commission.
These were brought from the planning commission to the board to decide what you want us to do.
But we want to find out more information about it.
well, I think that meeting that night is gonna be a good start.
Okay, that's what I would say. Go for the meeting then.
Yeah, I think that meeting, we gotta get everything all ironed out. Questions have gotta come forward. And get some answers going and try to move this thing forward. I mean, it's not something I wanna do overnight, but we gotta get this plan done. So,
Does everyone have the book, the binder that I gave Brett? Does everyone have one?
Yeah.
Okay, so everything we'll look at, all of the maps, everything is included in there. If there's anything you need prior to March 15th or doing your research, please let us know. But we're not gonna have extra binders here for you to look at that night. So you're gonna be expected to bring your binder with you. Any
And I-
questions about that?
I did tell Jennifer that I want everybody to have the same information when we come that night. So that everybody has it, but Jennifer will be here too, so
Yeah.
if somebody is missing something, she'll be able to go. Get it, I guess.
But I'd rather have you bring it with you like your
Right,
homework,
but
if you're a student.
we need to start getting things out in the open and find out, let the plan commission know what. From what I understand, the meetings I go to, they want to know what we want. Where we want to go, what we want to do in this township. So that's going to be the night for you guys to speak up and say what you want to do, where you want to go. And then we got to get together and make things work. Period.
Has Dane County put anything in place yet for them, or they're kind of waiting for us, or?
They're waiting for us. And Brian's supposed to be here that night, correct? Is he on schedule?
Brian Standing.
Brian
yes.
Standing?
Yes, he is. Mhm, mhm, absolutely. So we had that one meeting before with Brian Standing. And he came in and he did a presentation, but this time, from what Wayne has said, there's going to be no presentation. It's only going to be question and answer. So if everyone comes in with no questions, it's going to be a really short meeting. So everyone should at least write down at minimum one question so that it is useful. And we might do it, Wayne was thinking, maybe we'll get the white tables out and maybe we'll do it more like a circle.
We'll have all the plan commission board members at the table. And I'll run the meeting.
And then Brian will just be here to answer questions.
There's nothing on the agenda for the plan commission.
I don't think there's a petition to be heard, but we can do it where we could do a joint meeting to start. And then the town board members can leave and then the plan commission can finish their business meeting. You know, if they want to work on some other things. I guess I'm not really clear on what they'd like to do,
Yeah.
but if you guys don't want to have to stay the whole time, then maybe that would be an
Question and
option.
answer could take a few hours, and if
I
there,
was just gonna say, it's gonna be lengthy.
it could get lengthy, and if somebody was here. I mean, I hope it's lengthy so we can get some answers. I mean, a half-hour meeting with Brian Standing really isn't going to, hopefully, you know, take some time. So if the business meeting is gonna be after, it's gonna be a long night for those guys.
And maybe they don't have a business meeting after.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe we just have a joint meeting and then they don't do, I guess.
Well, the thing
Someone
is,
will have to talk to Brian Duffin and ask him
Well-
what he wants to accomplish that night.
maybe what we should do is let the plan commission have their meeting first. If they ain't got nothing on the agenda, it shouldn't be a 10-minute meeting. And they close their meeting and then we go into a joint meeting. And then I'll run that joint meeting and then I'm just gonna have to take our notes. Everything that comes out.
Would you like to do the meeting for the plan? Would you like them to start at 6? Would you like to see if that could be a possibility and then start the Brian standing meeting at 6:30?
You could try to shoot Brian an email, see if that worked for him.
Okay,
I'm fine with that.
would that work for you?
Work for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Oh,
there's
Brian
quite a
Duffin.
few. Brian Duffin, yeah.
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 Find out.
And then have Brian Staney come here at 6:30.
Correct.
Okay. I mean, do you think you need to have a business meeting, Arlen?
I don't think so. I don't think there's any other petitions of any kind.
Okay,
coming in.
so just check with Brian Duffin if he
Yeah,
would want to hold a
right,
business meeting.
right, yeah.
Okay, so I'll have, we'll get
Have
into
Stephanie
that.
reach out and see
Yeah.
if he needs to have a meeting or not.
Yeah, and then.
If he
not,
doesn't,
then-
I don't know, do you guys want to start at 6 o'clock? You want to start at 6:30?
6 o'clock.
6:30.
It's up to you guys.
6:30, we probably better do 6:30.
I think it's gonna drag out a little bit.
I think so too.
What's, Wayne, you've been there, or Arlen, maybe you can answer, you guys have been to more of the meetings. How much are they trying to revamp the whole program that's already there?
Not revamping it very much, just trying to get some
So there's.
wordage right, you know? And so people can really tell that, like, the Anderson rule. There was nothing in there about the Anderson rule that you take all of your land and then use the splits from them, you know? That it's a different thing. And then, well, the other 5 topics or whatever, their wordage in there are wrong, are different. Now, one map is different. So.
It's like a lot of people are on the same page, but it's not really wrote down proper.
That's right. And this is what we got to get in this land.
I think it's important that you listen to some of the audios that Jennifer had before you came. That's about the RH properties like Steve owns, that it was taken away and then it was given back. And now they want to take it away again. And the audio gives you an awful lot of answers. I think, Wayne, I think you were even on the board at that meeting. So if you listen to that, you'll understand a little bit more, and that might be a better way to make your decision on what you think about that. And also on the other policy with the map, Jennifer has got some audios from another meeting that was discussed, why those things on the map were correct. So I think if we look at all that stuff and learn all that before that meeting, it'd be really worthwhile. It's just getting more information.
So there's a map out there with blue areas on it, which goes to that ordinance 82, right?
Ordinance 82 is purple areas.
Purple area, okay. You know, and it's a matter of, the plan commission voted not to do that anymore, use that. And they want to hear from the board what we want to do with it. And there's 2 ways of looking at that. When we sit in a meeting here, and I will say this for the last plan commission meeting on Wilderness Way, you got people who built a house out there, then all of a sudden now you got somebody else who built a house back there. They didn't know that was going to happen when they moved there. Is that going to happen if we bring in this ordinance 82 and keep it? It might. But they also had the right to this at one time, so how do you take it away? But I don't think if we leave it, we shouldn't go out and preach it to these people. If they know they got it, they know they got it. They don't, just leave it alone. We can leave it in play without preaching it to people. Because if you start preaching it to people and it gets out there, we're gonna have a lot more people in here complaining about, I don't want that house built here, I don't want that house built here. So it's more or less, it's kind of been a laying dog there for years. They'll probably still lay there. We can still keep the ordinance in. Those that have, my feelings, we kept it in. Those that know about it will probably take advantage of it. Those that don't, it's up to them to find out.
And if we took it away, we probably have to tell all the people who were taking it away from, and maybe they didn't even know they had it.
Correct.
But we'd have to do that.
But that's something that we gotta discuss that night, and the board's gotta decide what they wanna do. So it's gonna be a longer meeting, but this is where you gotta bring your questions in. And let's try to get some things rolling.
And your binder.
Anything else?
Reminder. Notice will be there yet.
Okay, 20 Anderson Farm Park. Does anybody got Anderson Farm Park?
Pack your
Harley, you got
bag.
anything?
I know.
Steve, you got anything?
No, that was the day I got out of the hospital. They had a board meeting. I was unable to attend, and I was hoping that somebody else would. Thank you.
21. Kurt, council report. We got Kurt tonight.
Yeah, I'm here. Nothing too much. It's been pretty quiet. I had a couple weeks ago, dog run around Raven Oaks. By the time I got there to get the dog, the owners had found it, so. Other than that, it's been quiet. The weather's warming up, so. I'm sure it'll change.
Exactly.
22 Public Works, Harvey Land must report. We've talked much about that tonight. Next report, Fred, you got anything?
Our employee is back to work that was out with the COVID. He was back, so.
Oh, that would be, you have to make a phone call to Pelletier and get the oil filters picked up.
Oh,
I
No,
talked
they
to
don't
Dave
pick it.
yesterday and for a while, and he never said a word to me
It's
about
full.
getting
It is full.
anything.
yeah,
picked
it's
up.
not Pelletier. We use,
For the oil filters?
no, we don't use Pelletier for the oil filters. We
Future.
use, yes, thank you,
Who?
Future.
Future.
No, that's a big question.
Huh?
Oil filters,
Oil filters.
when I take my oil filters over there, tell me to put them in metal bin. They're drained.
Well, there's a container over there by the oil drain oil that. the oil filters are
They told
supposed-
me to take them over and put them in the metal bin.
There you go.
But we ain't got in trouble for it yet. So.
Well, I wish I knew the exact right place to put them then.
Well, it's full over there. I know they're full.
Okay.
So. Senior part, Kate.
So now that they decided where the library was gonna be, they can be pretty sure where the senior center will be, right in that same area. And hopefully they'll be able to stay in the present senior center while they're building the new one. A lot of planning, it's just in the baby steps of it. They would like to have beside the senior center, a rec center that would attract more people that were seniors, hopefully. Phil Van Campen was there to help out with some of the questions, but right now there's more questions than answers. It would be a TIF district, and they're going to be establishing some different work groups to come up with different ideas. And the other good news was the town of Dunn is thinking about getting back into the senior center. And we're hoping to be able to, after this contract is up, we signed a 2-year one, to come up with a better way to come up with how we pay. And we'll have more, we'll have liaisons with town of Dunn, because the town of Village is growing. And again, I talked to Martin a little bit about how can we come up with what you annex and have intergovernmental agreements to share in some of the taxes to help pay for what we pay to the senior center. That's it.
Any questions?
You should reach out to the Village of Brooklyn, because the Village of Brooklyn was once a member of the senior center also, and then they got off. They still make a contribution, at least they have, I don't know if they have lately, but they used to make a contribution after they got off the agreement, but maybe seems that Dunn's coming back in. Maybe the Village of Brooklyn might be willing to come back in also, so
Right.
you could reach out to the Village of Brooklyn to see if they're interested in, if we're redoing the agreement
Yeah.
to get it back
Yeah, I'll
involved.
do that. You know, I'm learning new little abbreviations. We could do an MOU. It is a memorandum of understanding, rather than having another big contract that we signed for 2 years.
Very good, thank you. Assessor report, Jennifer.
You guys love this. This is Fred's favorite part, is we get to pick dates of board of review and open book.
But they can change.
Let's change, they generally change. But I want to go back to that. But so the dates they have proposed, open book would be June 28th. That's, no board members are required to be here on open book. But then the board of review date would be Tuesday, July 19th from noon to 2. So would there be any reason that anyone who's sitting at this table right now could not attend that date that they know
No, we don't know.
We don't know.
I couldn't.
Arlen's definitely not.
I can make it.
You know what? You can still be on board of review even though you're not on the town board.
Oh,
So,
yeah?
yeah, you could. You could get appointed to it.
All right,
So.
call me.
So, I mean, I just told him that I would to pencil us in and I'd let you guys know, but if you know that that doesn't work, then I would let them know.
Well, I can tell you right now. That I'm pretty sure. I know that I'm not gonna be on that.
Vacation.
Mhm.
So we only need 3, right?
That's correct.
But if you want to be here,
I can probably be here unless something huge comes up.
can you be here or not?
Oh, yeah, I can, this week before.
Okay, so let's plan
Okay,
it.
you got three, at least 3 of you.
The Dinkum
Let's
Fair.
plan
Okay,
Dinkum
Thank you.
Fair.
Well, don't, they come if they don't start now until
Okay,
Wednesday now.
okay, I just know it's the week of Dinkum.
Yep. 26 building inspection services. You guys got that in front of you?
6.
Work communication, future agenda items. We got change next month's meeting, right?
Yes, we do. I forgot about that. Good thinking.
Have to
Wow.
do it a week later.
Yep. So it's going to be the same board that's sitting here tonight, though, because we don't approve the new supervisors until the following at the 19th of April,
Annual meeting.
the annual meeting. So we have an election on April 5th. So would you guys be able to do it on Tuesday, April 12th, or would you rather do it that first week of April?
With the election going on, I think we just move it back a week.
Do it to the 12th?
The first week of April is only the first, is not, it's a Friday.
Yeah, that's true. Second week of April. So
So,
we're gonna go to the third week of April, actually, right?
so
Third week of April, second Tuesday of April.
12th. It'll be April 12th.
Okay.
So that would include Arlen and Jason. Would that work for you guys?
Yep.
Okay. And then
I get the crown put on that morning.
Right?
Oh, that's good.
then annual meeting would be the following Tuesday on the 19th. So that would mean that the plan commission meeting would probably be pushed back then a week till the 26th. But I don't know. They would have to decide that at the meeting on the 15th.
Anything else from anybody?
So on the agenda for next month, are we gonna, do you want to talk about, well, you want to wait on the roads until May? Because it's gonna be the same board for that April meeting.
I suppose we'll have to.
Okay, and then
I guess an update on, we can get an update though, if Jennifer or Kate gets some more information,
on the,
I'll see what I can find out.
but if she gets information, then we have to do something before April 1st, we'll have to call a special meeting before then.
Okay.
So you'll have to see what you find out
and then the trailer and excavator, you want that on for May?
for May, yeah.
Okay,
But that's
and
not
then.
next month's
um,
April.
Oh, then the burn ordinance. Did you want that on an agenda anytime
Not yet.
soon?
Chief and I are working on that
Okay,
as we speak.
okay, all right, okay.
So I'm sure him and I will get through it on Thursday night now.
And did we approve a committee or are we gonna just wait till that? Do we have to approve making a committee for the recycling? I know you guys talked about
Well,
it.
We have 2 people for sure, 3 people that for sure would do it, and you want to head it?
Yeah.
How do you want to do that?
You said Dave,
Yeah.
yourself, and Lori said she
No, I'm
would.
not going to do it.
Oh, okay.
Not unless you want me to, but.
No, Dave, then Lori said she would, and
then you and maybe just one other person.
sure.
Or can work on it. Okay,
So do we need to make a motion for that? or-
I don't think so,
okay.
because it'll take you a little bit to get things worked out and get going anyway.
Mhm.
I think I like.
Is that it, Jennifer?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure it's on the agenda. Anything else then for April that you guys want to talk about?
Update of American Rescue Plan, night 28.
So next month, we probably will have to talk about this. We've got the money. I tried to go on there today. There's some reporting that I have to do by April 30th, and I could not, it's hard to get on the website. It looks like we're probably gonna be able to use the money pretty much how we see fit. But we do have to account for the money. So there are ways, but in terms of, like I said, if you wanted to do that, Sam, they want it to be a one-time use. They don't want you to do it towards something that would be an operating expense, because we're obviously not going to continually get this money.
So what is the total? We got,
We're gonna get, I wanna say we're gonna get 300 and some, I think we've gotten half, like 175,
Okay.
and I've used, well, the money that paid for this came out of that first half, so we have the other half. We don't have to use it immediately, but
I would,
Is there a time frame?
I wanna say 2028, you have to have all the funds used by, I think.
I would like us to see us spend the money on, put another screen over there that would come out this way for the audience to see, like a 50-inch screen TV. But then have it so to swing back and sit next to the wall when it's not in use. I don't know how much it'd come in use for board meetings, but for plan commission, it'd be huge. Because everything goes up on this screen and they sit there and you either have to move around. If it was on that screen, people could sit there and see it. So I'd really like to see you get a price on that, and if we can take it out of that funds, I would highly recommend we do that.
I can't see spending that kind of money on a salt shed here. How long is the township gonna be in this spot? That's a lot of money to stick in a sand shed.
Well, I don't know if we're moving.
Place to move to?
Gonna stay here.
I think it'll stay here.
Mhm.
The only one that was ever talked about moving was Phil Van Campen. He always wanted to move.
I guess the town, it's not like you gotta add on, they're not gonna get bigger.
No,
Yeah,
we're losing.
we missed our opportunity to move,
Yes, we did.
and we probably would need another opportunity.
We should have bought
The golf course got sold.
We should have bought the Jim O'Brien place, but we should have done.
Golf course got sold.
I heard the golf course got sold. That's the first I heard about was Jennifer sent that email.
So we'll actually probably get back a liquor license eventually.
Clerk's update report.
Okay, so Wayne, you came in, you stepped in this morning, so I did the loan. So your very last page, 149. So you can help me. We took out a loan this year for, I'm sorry. Yeah, last year, 2021. We took out a loan for $325,000. I went through on the very bottom. We over the 141,831 is for the road work. We then bought the tractor. That was 72,000 for the tractor. And then I'm not quite sure if we only got gravel from Payne and Dolan, which was 7,900, or if there was more gravel that I'm not accounting for.
It all came from Payne and Dolan.
It all would have came from Payne and Dolan, okay. Well, I think I'm pretty accurate on that number, which would mean that we're left over with 103, 154. Is there anything else that we were taking out that loan to pay for?
The only thing we talked about was maybe that ditch mower.
Did we purchase it in 2021?
We didn't purchase it.
We didn't purchase it.
What happened
Okay.
with that?
That'd be the next thing that we thought about. I think when we borrowed the money, we thought about we might do that. And then the guys also wanted that,
Thought that town truck was gonna, or was that on a different loan?
No, that was on this loan. So I just wanted to make sure
Well,
that
you
we
don't-
have that correct amount of money left over. There wasn't any other monies that we were using to pay for from that loan we took out. couldn't remember anything, but is there anything else?
So the
road
town
work,
truck loan came out of where?
that came out of the 20, the loan above it, the $250,000 loan.
Okay,
That came out of there.
The
And we
truck.
So
overspent on that,
right.
but that had nothing to do with the loan we took out for 325. That was
So we got
just,
like 103 left over.
But that was including the mower truck, right? That's $40,000.
yeah, so that would be part of that 100,000, or we'd have to take it out of the
We'd have to take it out of there,
100,000.
yes.
Yeah.
So you'd be down to 60.
Yeah, we just haven't paid for that Ford truck yet.
Right,
Yeah. So, but I'm just making sure that,
Yep, I hear you.
that there's nothing else you want me to count for. Otherwise, our auditors, so we finished our audit. And one of the things that's outstanding is just making sure how much money I want set aside. And I'm gonna give her that number if that looks correct for you guys.
It looks correct. I think if we're gonna take out the roadside mower, if they want to do that,
Okay,
and
Did you guys ever get a price on that? You know, I know it was talked about at least getting a price on that truck,
what truck?
on the 2-ton, the small one.
Yeah.
I never heard a price. I know you.
43 grand,
What's that?
43 to boot.
The boot?
Yeah, that's what I said. That's why I didn't just go any further. When they took it up there and got it repaired, I should have told you guys this. When they took it up and had it repaired, I know the one sales up there who does the commercial stuff, Tim Askey. So long as it was there, I had him appraise it, and give me a price. When he said 43 to trade, it was like, and actually that whole price was Monroe's equipment. The box. You know, because we got a special
I'm sure
box.
they're only giving you what, 40 or 45 on that one, and you're another 50 for the boot, I'm sure.
So it's like, we'll run it for a while. But they did talk about the mower. And I don't remember what that was, the boot, 16 grand, is that what it was?
I mean, you can use this
But-
money towards, I mean,
Right.
if you take out the money, we did order the Ford truck, we don't
Right.
even know if we'll get it this year.
Right.
But you
The,
could use that money for road work too, because the money was
Right.
pulled out for road work or for equipment, so.
The other thing they wanted was that, I don't know what you call it, but it's that offset disc that pulls the gravel up.
Back on, right, yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know where you get one. I think they're like 8 grand. I think it'd be worth it to get it. But I don't know where you get one from.
Some of the township guys you talk to swear by them, and the other ones, it's about half and half, half them hate,
Well,
half them like them.
We've used it now and them guys would like to have it. They think it works great. I know the
They
county
use it
uses
on-
them a lot.
But they come
Oh.
back through and roll them too then, don't they?
The county does.
Yeah,
we
you
don't have a
loosen
roll.
all that dirt up and you get one or gravel, you get one heavy rain and then it starts washing it out again. Well, that's what I heard from a lot of other people too.
I mean, we got by all these years without it, so it ain't a big deal. I just brought it up because they asked about it, so.
So we made the last loan payment on the 2018 road construction. So
I do know they're concerned about the gearbox on that thing, because it did go out once and. I guess it's like 6 grand. I can't leave a gearbox at 6 grand, but I don't know.
I'd like to see them stretch that one more year, use that towards roads just because there was so much purchase there and just to get
I
that stuff
agree.
spaced a little bit.
We purchased-
You are gambling though, there's a 6-year, what they say, a 6 or
6-year
7-year
warranty
warranty,
on the new one.
100%.
Yeah.
You can hit, I mean, what do? You can hit one big rock and probably tear a gearbox out. I guess, is it worth a $10,000 gamble? Or not even that, I think they were allowed, you'd have to go back and look, what were they allowed, 9,000 for trade?
I don't remember.
It's like 9 for trade, so is it worth an $8,000 or $9,000 gamble? I don't know.
So the other thing is we had part fixed on the Ford truck and then it got recalled. So there's we need to look into how to get reimbursed for the money we spent prior to the recall. I don't know how that works. Abel was gonna work on that, but if anyone else knows,
Good
Joe
luck
Kaiser,
if you paid for it. I'll talk to you about it, or unless Jason wants to.
But that's gonna be a tough battle.
That's gonna be a tough battle.
I would guess.
Once
so.
you,
he
once
kind
you,
of tried to pass it off on me.
I would,
once you paid for it.
yeah, I
it's-
would
it's-
say you're probably
it's
out
out the
of.
door. Okay,
I can ask them.
all right, you ask me. Item 30.
Move to adjourn.
Motion from Arlen to adjourn at 8:06. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Kate. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, so saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign, motion carries. Oops, I forgot to mention, we got a thank you from Jennifer. Pass that around.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Sorry about that.
Appreciate it.
Watching it.